Picture this scenario. Good job, check. Nice home, check. Car that runs, check. Money in savings, check. But you still lie awake at 2 a.m. wondering, why do I feel one step away from being broke? You're not going mad. That's just the truth. According to a recent research by Credit Karma, nearly 1/3, that's 29% of Americans, experience exactly this same thing. And there is a name for it. It's called money dysmorphia. And what does it mean? Money dysmorphia is what happens when your feelings about money don't match the facts, whether you're either doing better or you're doing worse. And it's not just affecting a few people. In fact, 43% of Gen Z and 41% of millennials report feeling financially behind, even when their bank statement says otherwise. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the 5 psychological traps that trick your brain into feeling poorer than you are. Trap 1. Let me start with a question. When did you last check Instagram without feeling like your life looked a bit small? Look at this research from Bankrate. It shows that 57% of adults who use social media say it has made them feel negatively about their finances. You know what I'm talking about, right? You see your colleague's kitchen. You see your friend posting from Bali yet again. You see that neighbor who somehow always affords the holiday and going on lots of holidays. And that is why 30% of Gen Z and 33% of millennials admitted that they've made impulsive purchases of over $500 based on what they've seen on social media. And psychologists have a name for it. It's called relative deprivation, which means that you're not actually worse off. Instead, you just feel worse off compared to the curated highlights that you are consuming daily on social media. But here's what nobody talks about. We all have people in our lives, and maybe even ourselves, who we know that try to portray themselves wealthier than they actually are on social media. The same is true to the millions that we don't even know personally, right? That means that you're actually comparing your real life that's messy and is meant to be messy with someone else's performance. But social comparison is just the first trap. The second one is even trickier, and it happens even when life actually gets worse. Just imagine you get a promotion, you upgrade your home, you finally buy the car that you've always wanted for years. And for a few weeks, you experience pure bliss. But then what happens? After a few weeks, you find out that that new car becomes the new normal. Psychologists call this the hedonic adaptation or hedonic treadmill. The idea comes from a classic research in the 1970s showing that whether people won a lottery or faced major setbacks, they often drifted back to their usual level of happiness. The truth is, modern research have actually confirmed this. We quickly adapt to good financial changes. A bigger house, a fancier car, it gives us a buzz at first, but later it fades. And that's why doubling your income, for example, often doesn't double your sense of security. Now, to be fair, newer studies also have shown that not everything adapts away. For example, the hardship and negative part of it can leave a scar. But when it comes to lifestyle upgrade, most of us get used to them shockingly fast. Think about it, you probably own something today that would have blown your mind 5, 10, 2 years ago. This treadmill is also the roots of lifestyle creep, where you always increase your expense to match the income just for that satisfaction that never come or never lasts. But what if you didn't need to be on any treadmill to be poor? What if the scars from your past is actually what's keeping you broke, no matter how much you earn? And that's the next trap we are going to discuss. Now, some of us carry invisible scars from our past. For example, if you grew up hearing things like, we can't afford that, or you watch your parents lose their job during the recession, that fear can stay with you for a long time like a shadow. And research actually backs this up. Studies show that people who experience financial trauma in childhood often struggle with money dysmorphia, regardless of their current income. And I see this constantly with some family members that are close to me. They gone through a lot while they were young. You're now currently earning well, but you're still living like the kid that is struggling, the kid whose family is struggling. You're going to the cheapest groceries. You're not changing your worn out clothes. Recognizing this shadow is actually the first step to actually making lasting change. Knowing that you are susceptible to this, knowing that you are a victim of this is actually the first step. But even if you silence those inner scars, those shadows, right? The outside world has a speaker that is screaming disaster at you all the time. So let us talk about that. And that is the fourth trap. If you turn on the news, open your phone, check the headlines, majority of the message is always the same. And they want you to be afraid. The more we hear it, the more we internalize it. Even if our own finances are actually stable, we start carrying an umbrella every day, expecting a storm that is not coming at all. But even if you learn to tune out this doom and gloom, there's one more trap that almost nobody escapes because it feels like common sense. Here's the final trap, right? You hit your target, your savings target of, let's say, £10,000. Immediately, enough becomes £20,000. And then you reach that 20,000 and enough becomes 50,000, and on the goalposts keep moving. This is a psychological phenomenon where enough always stays just out of reach. Here's a mind-blowing statistics, right? It shows that 90% of people earning over £100,000 don't even consider themselves to be well off. Think about that for a minute. Even the top earners feel that they don't have enough. And the problem is not the money. The problem is actually the measuring stick that we use to determine what is enough, right? The only way out of these traps is to actually change the lens that you're looking through. In a second, I'll share with you a 4-step framework that you can use to reset how you feel about money. And they are so simple. The first one is to curate your inputs. That means filtering out what you're looking and what you're consuming on a daily basis. Or follow some people on social media. Yes, I said this. Follow some people. Make sure that you know the kind of news that you are subscribed to and what they say. That's the first thing. Curate what you receive, what you're consuming. Be intentional about that. The second is so simple, but it has massive impact, and that is to practice gratitude. But you need to do it with specifics. Don't just think, I'm grateful. Instead, be intentional about it. And the way I do this is to write 3 things I'm grateful for on a daily basis in my journal. It could be something as simple as coffee. It could be tea. It could be your kids. And you can repeat the same thing. You can be grateful for the same thing every day. But giving yourself that thing at the end, that making that mindset shift at the end of every day, where you're sitting down, you're thinking back on the day, and you're thinking about 3 things that you're grateful for, actually changes the way that you see life. And one thing I'm grateful for is the fact that you're going to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more personal finance videos like this. Research shows that this attitude of gratitude actually rewires your brain to notice abundance rather than scarcity. The third thing is to reality check your fears. Ask yourself, is this fear based on my actual situation or the news cycle? Most financial fears are inherited from external narratives and not your personal data. So that's the third. The fourth is to determine you're enough. Look at the numbers, base it on your values and not social media. I did a video which I'll link in the description where I call it What is Enough. It helps us to determine financially how do we calculate what enough is for us, for our family, and you can check that in the description. The ultimate truth is this. The goal isn't to be richer than others, right? It's to feel rich enough to live your life that you actually want. And that feeling is available to you right now. If this video have opened your eyes to these psychological traps, please hit the like button in the description and drop a comment which of these 5 traps hits you the hardest or which one are you going through at the moment. Until next time, have a great one.